Every single day, millions of men across the globe do something without thinking twice about it. They pour themselves a hot cup of coffee, take a sip, and move on with their routine, completely unaware that they're holding what might be the most remarkable natural delivery system ever discovered. You see, coffee is so much more than just a morning drink. It's actually a powerful carrier, a transport mechanism that can shuttle potent natural ingredients straight into your bloodstream with incredible speed and efficiency. And here's the part that almost nobody realizes. When you mix in a few specific natural additions to that same cup of coffee you already drink every morning, you can turn a simple daily habit into something that actively fuels your blood flow, your energy, your stamina, and your overall masculine vitality well into your 70s, 80s, and even beyond. This is not some internet myth or wishful fantasy. This is backed by published, peer-reviewed clinical research. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you exactly which ingredients to stir into your coffee, precisely how they work deep inside your cells, and why mixing them with coffee specifically makes them dramatically more powerful than swallowing them alone as capsules or pills. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and if you're a man who refuses to let age steal your energy and confidence, or if you've quietly noticed that your body just doesn't respond the way it once did, then what I'm about to share could genuinely change the trajectory of your health this year. So please, do not click away. Watch this all the way to the very end, because I've saved the most powerful addition for last, and you won't want to miss it. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Drop a comment below and tell me where in the world you're watching this from. I read every single comment, and it honestly means the world to me to know that men everywhere are taking their health seriously. And if you haven't already, go ahead and tap that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. Now let's begin with the foundation. Let's talk about coffee itself and why it's such an extraordinary base for everything we're about to add. Most people think of coffee as just caffeine in a cup. But coffee actually contains more than 1,000 biologically active compounds, and some of them are truly extraordinary molecules. Caffeine is the famous one, of course, but caffeine does so much more than simply shake you awake in the morning. Caffeine acts as a vasodilator at the peripheral level. Think of it like this. Imagine all the tiny blood vessels in your body are garden hoses that have been slightly pinched. Caffeine helps unpinch those hoses so more blood can flow through freely, especially to areas like your extremities and your pelvic region. It does this by blocking something called adenosine receptors, which triggers a chain reaction of chemical signals that tell your blood vessels to loosen up and relax. That improved blood flow is part of why coffee makes you feel so alive and sharp. But the benefits go far deeper than just feeling alert. Beyond caffeine, coffee is packed with chlorogenic acids. These are powerful plant-based antioxidants that have been shown in studies to improve something called endothelial function. Now let me explain that in simple terms. Your endothelium is like a thin, delicate wallpaper that lines the inside of every single blood vessel in your body. This lining has one incredibly important job. It produces nitric oxide, which is the master molecule that controls blood flow everywhere. When that inner lining is healthy, it pumps out plenty of nitric oxide. Your blood vessels stay soft and flexible like a new rubber band, and blood moves freely to every organ and tissue. But when this lining gets damaged, which happens naturally as you age, nitric oxide production drops. Your vessels get stiff like an old, dried-out rubber band, and circulation suffers from head to toe. The chlorogenic acids in your coffee have been shown in clinical research to protect and support that precious inner lining and help keep nitric oxide levels healthy. Coffee also delivers trigonelline, a compound studied for its brain protective and blood sugar balancing properties. It provides caweol and cafestol, which fight inflammation, and it supplies meaningful amounts of magnesium and potassium, two essential minerals your blood vessels and muscles desperately need to function properly. So all by itself, your morning coffee is already creating a biochemical foundation inside your body that favors better circulation and greater vitality. Now imagine taking that already powerful foundation and supercharging it with specific additions that amplify every single one of those effects. That's precisely what we're going to do right now. The very first addition I want to tell you about, and honestly, this is the one I believe is most life-changing, is raw cacao powder. And I need you to pay close attention here because there is a massive difference between raw cacao powder and regular cocoa powder that you find on most grocery shelves. Regular cocoa has been heavily heated and processed, which destroys many of the most valuable compounds. Raw cacao is unprocessed, untouched, and loaded with the good stuff. Understanding this distinction could make or break your results. Raw cacao is one of the most flavanol-dense foods that exists anywhere on Earth. Flavanols are a specific type of plant compound that scientists have studied extensively for their effects on the heart and blood vessels. The particular flavanol in cacao that matters most is called epicatechin, and it does something remarkable. Epicatechin directly switches on an enzyme inside the lining of your blood vessels called endothelial nitric oxide synthase. Think of this enzyme like a tiny factory that manufactures nitric oxide. When epicatechin flips the switch, that factory starts producing more nitric oxide. Your blood vessels open wider, and blood rushes more freely throughout your entire body. The published research on cacao flavanols and blood flow is extensive and remarkably consistent. Numerous randomized controlled trials have shown that people who regularly consume cacao flavanols experience measurable improvements in something called flow-mediated dilation, which is the gold standard test doctors use to measure how well blood vessels open up when demand increases. These improvements have been documented in younger people and, crucially for us, in adults over 70 years old. But here's what makes stirring cacao into your coffee so brilliantly clever. The caffeine in your coffee and the flavanols in cacao improve blood flow through completely different pathways. Caffeine works through neurochemical signaling by blocking adenosine. Cacao works at the cellular level by directly boosting nitric oxide production. When these two pathways combine in one single cup, you get a synergistic circulation boost that neither one could ever produce alone. It's like having two engines instead of one. Using it is simple. Just stir 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw cacao powder into your freshly brewed coffee. It dissolves easily and gives your coffee this wonderful, deep, slightly chocolatey richness that most people absolutely love. If the taste seems a touch bitter at first, you can add a tiny amount of natural sweetener. But try it plain first because most people discover that when cacao meets coffee, the bitterness actually becomes something deeply satisfying and enjoyable. The second addition I highly recommend is Ceylon cinnamon, and I want to be extremely clear about the type because getting this wrong could actually cause problems over time. Walk into most grocery stores and the cinnamon you'll find is called cassia cinnamon. It's cheaper and far more common. But cassia contains high levels of a substance called coumarin, which can stress your liver if you consume it daily over long periods. Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes labeled as true cinnamon, gives you all the incredible health benefits without any of the coumarin concern. For daily use in your coffee, Ceylon is absolutely the one you want. Cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde, and this compound improves blood flow through multiple channels. Cinnamaldehyde promotes nitric oxide release. It reduces platelet aggregation, which simply means it keeps your blood from becoming too thick and sluggish, like honey moving through a straw. And it has powerful anti-inflammatory effects directly on blood vessel walls. When blood vessels are inflamed, they can't relax and open properly even when nitric oxide tells them to. Cinnamon helps calm that inflammation, so your vessels can respond the way they're supposed to. But here's the benefit I find most exciting for men over 50. Cinnamon has a truly remarkable effect on blood sugar control and insulin sensitivity. Study after study has shown that cinnamon compounds help your cells respond better to insulin and keep blood sugar levels stable after meals. Now you might be wondering, what does blood sugar have to do with blood flow and vitality? The answer is everything. When blood sugar stays chronically elevated, and when your cells become resistant to insulin, it's like pouring acid on the inside of your blood vessels. It damages that precious endothelial lining we talked about earlier. It crushes nitric oxide production, it fuels inflammation, and it makes your arteries stiff and rigid. By helping keep blood sugar under control, cinnamon guards your entire vascular system against one of the most common and sneaky threats that men face as they age. Adding it to your coffee couldn't be easier. Half a teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon stirred into your morning cup is all you need. It gives your coffee a warm, naturally sweet flavor that pairs beautifully, and might even eliminate your craving for added sugar, which is a wonderful bonus all by itself. The third addition has been treasured across Asia for literally thousands of years, and it's ginger. Whether you use freshly grated ginger root or a high-quality dried ginger powder, this ingredient can supercharge your morning coffee in ways that science is now fully confirming. Ginger is loaded with bioactive compounds called gingerols and shogals, and these substances have profound effects on your circulatory system. Gingerols stimulate blood flow to your peripheral tissues by encouraging blood vessels to open wider and by creating what scientists call a thermogenic effect. Basically, ginger slightly raises your internal body temperature, and when your body detects that extra warmth, it responds by dilating blood vessels to distribute the heat. The result is noticeably improved circulation to your extremities and to your pelvic region. Ginger is also one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds known to science. And this matters enormously because chronic, low-grade inflammation inside blood vessel walls is one of the primary reasons circulation gets worse as the decades pass. Inflammatory molecules attack that delicate endothelial lining, reduce its ability to make nitric oxide, and promote the buildup of plaques that narrow your arteries over time. The gingerols in ginger block the production of inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes, acting like a shield that protects your blood vessel walls from this constant inflammatory damage. There's also emerging and genuinely fascinating research showing that ginger compounds may help support healthy testosterone levels. Some studies indicate ginger improves blood flow to reproductive tissues and provides antioxidant protection to the very cells responsible for hormone production. While scientists are still exploring this area, the early evidence aligns perfectly with ginger's ancient reputation as a tonic for male energy and vitality. To add ginger to your coffee, you have two options. You can grate a small piece of fresh ginger root directly into your hot coffee, let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes, then strain it out. Or you can simply add 1/4 to half a teaspoon of quality dried ginger powder straight into your cup and stir. Either way, it creates a warming, mildly spicy flavor that transforms your coffee into something that feels almost like a chai, and most people find it truly invigorating. Now, the fourth addition might genuinely catch you off guard. It's one of the most overlooked superfoods available anywhere, and most men have never even heard of it. I'm talking about maca root powder. Maca is a root vegetable from the cruciferous family that grows only in the extreme high altitudes of the Andes Mountains in Peru, above 13,000 feet where almost nothing else can survive. Indigenous Peruvian communities have cultivated and eaten maca for more than 2,000 years, traditionally valuing it for the way it boosted energy, endurance, and masculine vitality. And now modern science has validated what those ancient cultures knew all along. Several well-designed clinical trials have confirmed that maca supplementation leads to improvements in energy, physical stamina, and self-reported vitality measures. Now here's what makes maca truly fascinating from a scientific perspective. Unlike many other vitality-boosting substances, maca doesn't directly change your hormone levels in a way that shows up on standard blood work. Instead, it works on something deeper. It appears to modulate what's called the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Think of this as the master control center in your brain that orchestrates hormonal balance across your entire body. By helping this control center work more efficiently, maca helps your body find and maintain its own natural hormonal sweet spot. Maca also contains unique compounds called macamides and macaines, which are special fatty acid molecules found in absolutely no other plant on Earth. These compounds have been studied for their ability to support nitric oxide production and enhance endothelial function. So when you combine maca with coffee's chlorogenic acids and cacao's epicatechin, you're stacking yet another complementary blood flow pathway on top of the others. The flavor of maca powder is malty, mildly sweet, and earthy, and it blends into coffee far better than you'd expect. 1 to 2 teaspoons of gelatinized maca powder stirred into your morning cup mixes smoothly and barely changes the taste. I specifically recommend gelatinized maca because the gelatinization process strips away the raw starch, which makes it much gentler on your stomach and allows your body to absorb the active compounds far more efficiently. The fifth addition is collagen peptides. And now I know what you're thinking. Collagen? Isn't that a skincare ingredient? But hear me out, because collagen is enormously important for blood flow and vascular health. And this is something most men never even consider. Your blood vessels are not stiff, rigid tubes. They are living, breathing structures made primarily of two proteins, collagen and elastin. Collagen gives your vessels their strength and structural integrity. Elastin gives them their ability to stretch and flex with every heartbeat. But here's the problem. As you get older, your body produces less and less new collagen, and the existing collagen in your vessel walls starts to become cross-linked and brittle. Imagine a brand new leather belt versus one that's been left in the sun for years. One is supple and flexible. The other cracks when you bend it. That's essentially what happens to your blood vessels over time. They lose their ability to expand and contract properly in response to nitric oxide signals. This is one of the most fundamental reasons that blood pressure climbs and circulation drops as men age. Supplementing with hydrolyzed collagen peptides has been shown in published research to support your body's ability to produce fresh collagen within blood vessel walls. These peptides, derived from marine or bovine sources and broken down into tiny absorbable fragments, deliver the exact amino acids your body craves as raw building materials for vascular repair, particularly glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. Clinical trials on collagen supplementation have documented measurable improvements in arterial stiffness, reductions in blood pressure, and improvements in vascular compliance, which is the medical term for how well your vessels stretch and recoil with each heartbeat. And these benefits are most pronounced in older adults, exactly the group of men who need them most. The best part about collagen peptides is how effortless they are to use. They dissolve completely in hot coffee, they have virtually zero taste, and they add no strange texture. 1 to 2 scoops, usually about 10 grams worth, stirred into your coffee disappears within seconds. You won't even know it's there. Now, it's time for the bonus addition I teased at the very beginning. And honestly, this one might be the most remarkable of them all. I'm talking about ashwagandha root extract. Ashwagandha belongs to a special category of herbs known as adaptogens, which means it helps your body adapt to stress and recover from its damaging effects. And let me tell you, stress, especially the chronic, grinding,